This week on Fundamentals, we are talking San Diego Comic-Con panels and all the news that they brought to us this past weekend, and then our spoiler-filled Deadpool and Wolverine review. Guys, what a great week for nerds.
Yes.
Oh my God. So much news. So many surprises.
So many things.
So many. So many. I'm super excited to get started on that. But before we do get started on that tonight, let's talk about our giveaway. So, we are giving away a Marvel Legends Red Skull autographed by Ross Marquand himself. To enter to win, just have to follow our YouTube channel, and the more you comment on our videos, the better your chance of winning is. Once we reach 1,000 subscribers, we'll pick the winner and ship it straight to you. So,
it's a great giveaway.
Great deal.
It is.
Yeah.
From a great guy. And I mean, from what better, more successful movie franchise than Marvel itself?
Oh, we're going to talk about some Marvel? Oh,
yeah. Let's do that. One I'm excited about probably the most is what I want to start with is the Fantastic Four. So we got our cast announcement. We actually got the whole cast on stage at SDCC this year in Hall H. And then we actually get the Fantastic Car, which is, I didn't even put a picture of it up on here. It is kind of cheesy looking, but they had it like suspended on cables and floated it across the stage, which was pretty neat. And from like their 1960s space age skyline of their cities. But then here's some pictures we did get. And then they also showed some of these pictures are from the
that's the car right there.
Oh yeah, there is a car. I forgot about that. But anyways, these pictures are from like this film that they posted, and it's actually like showing them sitting around getting prepped, to fly into space. It's shot like on some old camera, like 60 style camera. You see Reed sitting there teaching some kids, and like they seem like they're snoozing. And then turn around to the kids. He's like, "All right, y'all ready to blow something up?" They're like, "Yeah." But yeah, it's not a whole lot we get. And then there's like this little thing about them in the dating scene, like let's make a match.
Yeah.
But yeah,
this is a callback. Yeah.
So very, very 60s-esque vibe. We don't get to see Ben Grimm. We don't get to see them in their costumes, just them in regular clothes and then in their astronaut suits. But super pumped, super excited. They actually started filming today, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep, it's today or yesterday. But they came together just like in this little green screen area and filmed that real quick just to shut the panel and kind of give everybody a teaser. But so y'all pretty excited about this, or like, what's your thoughts and theories on? Are y'all cool with it being in the 60s in another universe, or you prefer that they didn't? Let me hear what you got.
So I'm excited, just because we did get to see like the Baxter Building, and yeah, it was in the 60s, but it's also like a futuresque like 60s as we see like the flying, Fantastic Four mobile. So I'm excited to see like where they take it. I'm excited to just see Pedro Pascal, honestly, Daddy Pascal, on the screen. So let's go.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited about this as well because I'm not all the way spun up on Fantastic Four comics, but I just recently started, so I don't know why they chose the 60s specifically. Maybe I'm guessing off the top of my head that they chose the 60s to pay homage to like the year the comics came out. Otherwise, like I would have recommended that they chose like the 80s or 90s because that's what the animated series was based on. I believe it was on like 4Kids or whatever back in the day, like way back in the day. And the premises started from like their origin story, where they were like TV stars, celebrities, and then all the way up until where they were teaming up with I believe it's the Inhumans. They teamed up with the Inhumans at the end of the series, and it was a great animated show. And one of the photos that you posted was a callback to like the second episode where Thing was on a dating show, and
nice.
All the women were like blind or something, and he had to like riz them up, and it's just like
because the Thing is such a smooth talker.
He is.
Yep.
He's in New York too.
So I was watching an interview with Entertainment, and they were talking to the cast and Matt Shackman, the director, and he said they did do it 60s style because paying homage to when that came out, but then also he's like that was the big race to space era. He's like, and pretty much what they're doing in this universe is they're going to actually be pretty much portraying Neil Armstrong and all of them, but instead it's going to be the Richards family that's going up first, and
Yeah.
that's kind of where they're doing it, and they are sticking to. They're not giving us an origin story. They're already going to have their powers. They're already going to be established. Which honestly, thank God that's what
Yeah.
we don't need no more origin stories. And they were asked a couple questions too, is like compared to Chris Evans, Johnny Storm, compared to the other ones, Michael Chiklis thing. They're like, how's your character going to be different compared to those? And they're like, honestly, we've not watched those movies, and we're not wanting to compare ourselves to them or even try to do a disservice to them. We're wanting to kind of do our own thing and our own vision, and not try to take things off what other actors have already done. He's like, and we don't want to seem like we're also, just kind of dissing on them as well. So we're kind of just sticking to the comics and to the writers, and kind of coming up with their own solution of portraying these characters as they would, which I think is great. I don't think they need to go back and look at these other movies at all. And I'm not like, especially 2015. But anyways,
we don't talk about it.
Yeah. But I think it's good to hear that they're going with screenwriters into the comics, and if they're honestly paying homage to the 60s because of when Fantastic Four first came out, I think we're going to get probably one of the closest comic accurate first families of Marvel ever we have on screen before.
And New Rockstars did say that, like, they said it was Fantastic Four first steps because of the Neil Armstrong space race, the first steps on the moon kind of thing.
Right. Yep, that's right. Yeah, and that we got that title over the weekend at the panel, wasn't it? Yep.
Yeah. We also got told that they were gonna be in both Avengers movies.
Yep.
The Fantastic Four crew itself.
That's good. So, that's good too, because that's not the only people we got told that's going to be in it. So, but onto that a little bit later. But yeah, it's good to know that we're not going to get them there, and they're going to have to be left wondering when are they coming back? Because a lot of our Marvel movies used to say at the end, even after the one or two credit scenes we'd get, it's such and such character will return. We haven't got a statement like that at the end of a movie or show in a long while. So we have characters out here that we've seen for the past 3 years. We're still wondering where they're at because we've only seen them one time in a movie or a show.
Yeah, the last one we seen was Thor. Not Ragnarok. The final one, Love and Thunder. Yeah, that was the last time we seen something like that.
Yeah, and we still have Thanos' brother. That was his name?
Star Fox.
Star Fox. Yeah. Him. Yeah, we haven't seen him since the end of Eternals.
Man, we haven't seen Black Knight.
White Vision.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many characters that went AWOL in the MCU.
For real. But I'm super excited for this, and this movie will be coming out July 25th. So pretty much exact year from now, almost. So I'm not gonna lie, I feel like they're doing this one fairly quick. I mean, they just started production. I mean, I guess we've had strikes and stuff that's kind of affected other things. Why it seems like it's taking longer. Like Captain America: Brave New World, that's taken 2 years to make, but we know the strikes played a big effect in that. So, and they had a lot of reshoots. So, but speaking of Captain America: Brave New World,
hey.
Well, that is not them. So, yeah. But Captain America: Brave New World, we get Harrison Ford, the cast, Anthony Mackie, all of them come out there. Harrison Ford, man, dude, I'm not even sure how old he is. But dude's getting around great for his age. He came out there just like full of energy, like acting like he was transforming into the Hulk. I guess like kind of like what he would have done when they filmed. Him and like Anthony Mackie were like running around the stage. Like Anthony Mackie bent over, Harrison Ford kicked him like jokingly and stuff. Yeah, they were just full of all kinds of like. Let's see, like there they are right there. Here's Harrison Ford acting out like he
that he's hulking out. Yeah.
This is the most wholesome shit I've ever seen.
For real.
Yeah.
And then we get Giancarlo Esposito, who we finally get announced who his character is. which is Sidewinder, the Serpent Society, the leader of the Serpent Society. So I don't know a whole lot about Sidewinder. Uh, Anybody know much about him at all?
I Googled as soon as like it was announced because I was like, who is Sidewinder? There's a Marvel wiki that I use for like a lot of the actors or like the characters rather.
Right.
And there isn't really much on it other than the fact that like he made the Serpent Society and they were after the Sentinels before they could like fully take off kind of thing. So like, are we going to see a Sentinel in this movie? Like, or the makings thereof, or a Trask maybe? We don't know.
That'd be cool. That'd be a cool
Yeah.
way to ease the even more mutant stuff in.
Yeah, yeah, and into like maybe like a Secret Wars of like, what is the war about?
Right.
Yeah, like there's like a lot of opportunity for them to talk Marvel politics in this movie. So I'm expecting Senator Kelly to like make his debut too. So
Oh, that would be great.
Ooh.
That would make sense too because of how the trailer looks and we see all them gathered together. Like Senator Kelly's maybe in that gathering where, Isaiah shoots at the president. That'd be cool.
Man, it'd be like, hey, that's the dude that's going to lead like the mutant wipeout. So.
Right.
Something else that we found out in the San Diego Comic-Con was that Tiamat is actually like the adamantium is in it. So what you had said, Blake, in the last episode, a callback, it actually came to fruition. Do any of you like think that like maybe they shared too much about this movie and now it's like,
I don't
what's
think
the point
so.
of seeing it? Or
no, I think there's still a lot. I think there's still a lot we don't even know. For one, we don't know why Ross is turning into the Red Hulk. We don't know which route he's going to go. And I feel like there's going to be some characters come into play in this movie that's going to be important that we have no idea is going to be in it yet too.
Like they did say that. Sorry. So they did say that like Sam at the beginning didn't have like the super soldier serum. Like they and like said that to be sure, but they didn't say that if he did or didn't get it throughout the rest of the movie. So we don't know still to this point in time if he does eventually get the serum.
Yeah, honestly, he doesn't even need it. Like this was my biggest worry for like Deadpool 3, just so we could all find out that all that shit was just misleading information so people would stay off of Deadpool's ass. And so I'm hoping that's the exact same situation with Captain America 4. Like we got a bunch of information, but we're about to get like taken to a whole new realm of outcome and whatnot that's going to happen in this movie. Because seems like Serpent Society has high involvement. I guess there's going to be a lot of president involvement, so a good mix of Thunderbolt Ross and Hulk, Red Hulk. So I honestly don't know like what storyline are they referencing and where is this going to lead to.
Well, we know too, like they never pull straight from the comics, so I wonder like how much they're going to pull from reference of the comics and how much they're going to go completely, different off story because you just never know with the MCU. But then we also have the leader too, and which route are they going to go with that? And how big are they going to go with him? Because I mean he's not an easy one to take down. So I mean he's got to be the main antagonist surely, but then talk about Red Hulk, you're like, well, crap, how's this going to come into play? Is he going to turn into Red Hulk first to maybe help out, and then he gets so consumed by the power he gets misled, down a darker path type thing, or is he just bad from the get go? I don't know. I think there's so many things that could be possible, and I still feel like I think there's 2 or 3 more characters, like I said, that's going to be in this that we have no idea that may come out closer to time, maybe leaked, maybe not. But I think they need to pull a couple more characters in, not like huge main players, but give us some more of that connectivity we love. Like when it comes to the movies, one thing about us fans, we love it when you show us a little bit of connectivity. So I think they should definitely do that with what's going on elsewhere and with other people, in the MCU.
Yeah, and I mean, you did see like the president tell Sam that he needed to like create a team, right? Like in the trailer. So like maybe he does create this team and he does get some other characters into his team, and we get to see something.
So I think that he's going to ask him to create a team, but I don't think they're going to come to an agreement. And I think that's when Ross is going to get a hold of Val to put her team together. And I think Sam's going to stay solo doing the right thing with him and Falcon. And I think he's going to turn Ross down. I could be wrong. That's just my theory. So
we still haven't seen Wong yet, too. So, from last time we seen him, he was putting together a team. So maybe this might be our next Wong appearance.
That would be great. We haven't seen Wong in a while either, so that would be great, actually. Also, with Giancarlo's character Sidewinder, he said, he's like, I'm used to playing villains, and where I dictate and kind of control and tell people what to go do, and they do my bidding for me. He said, one thing I will say about my character Sidewinder is he's a very hands-on, and I'll do things myself to make sure it's done right. He's and he's a very physical character. So I think we're going to get to see him in a lot of action, not just kind of sitting back chilling type thing.
Yeah. And Captain America comes out on February 14th of next year. So that will be the first Marvel movie since the Deadpool and Wolverine that just came out over this past weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect Valentine's date. For you people with plus ones.
Damn.
You
know Deontay,
Yeah.
I mean, as long as he ain't with nobody, that probably will be my Valentine's Day. We're gonna go see.
Right. We're gonna suit it up too.
So speaking of the next Marvel movie that is coming out, we have Thunderbolts with that little asterisk. So this is coming out in May 5th of 2025. When we get to see the character, I can't remember what her name is, but the last time we saw her was Ant-Man and Wasp, the shape-shifting.
Ghost.
Yeah, Ghost. Thank you.
Yeah.
So like I'm interested to see like how her powers have like developed and if she's able to like harness that. That like I don't know like how to control my powers yet because it's been since 2018 was the last time we saw her, right? So this is a whole so many years later.
In one interview I seen today, she does say she has control of her powers now.
Yeah, so she can phase on purpose.
Do you think it's like the suit that she wears is kind of like helping her with like?
I think it's got to be something like that, but like at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, weren't they supposed to be like helping her? And then she disappeared with Lawrence Fishburne's character, right? So like I'm thinking
Goliath.
Yeah. And I say that in Thunderbolts we should get some little cameo of him in it because like it ended with them two, so I don't see how they couldn't give us some kind of flashback or when they're explaining where she's been or what she's been through. Because like in the interview they were talking about how she's controlled that power, she's not in pain anymore, and we're going to kind of get to see the evolution of her character and if she's willing to work with other people or if she never can work with other people, which path she decides to take. So which they gave a little film clip at SDCC of Thunderbolts, which showed Lewis Poman, who's playing Sentry, and it's actually showing Ghost, Yelena, and maybe Taskmaster. I think maybe Taskmaster is just three of them, and they're like all going in, but they're not together. They're all going in for like separate people, all three different separate people, and then like they end up fighting each other. I think over Sentry, and then I think it just cuts off. So yeah, so I'm thinking like all these people. Yelena is confirmed to be leading this whole group now, so I'm thinking that I don't know. I think that Val is going to obviously like they're going to turn on Val, and I think maybe half of them may form together. Maybe a couple of them may stay with her. I don't know. There's so many things and possibilities they can go, but I know that everybody wants to kind of call this similar to DC's Suicide Squad. But I think after this movie comes out with the cast, the writers, I mean, the way it's seeming, like everybody's going to be anything Suicide Squad from here out is going to be compared to Thunderbolts.
Man, I'm hoping Thunderbolts succeeds, man. It seems like another just like a superhero team up movie for people that's like experiencing fatigue and whatnot. But I have high hopes. If you, long as you have the right director behind it, then this movie should be like on the same scale as like an Avengers movie type of event.
Careful.
No, I think you're right. I mean, it'd just be a group of anti-heroes, pretty much anti-heroes instead. But I think it's going to have a lot more humor than just like your normal ones, even though we have quite a bit of humor already in the MCU movies. And I think with the action sequences they were talking about, and then the cast and their comedy that they've already proven themselves for, like it could be a huge fan favorite of the MCU once it comes out, I think.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah, and David Harbour also showed up in his new designed Red Guardian outfit. Here he is,
man.
And what's funny
You're
is
the only one that dressed up.
Yeah, what's funny is he came out and then he starts talking about it, and then he looks around. He's like, "Wait, where's all of y'all's costumes?" And he played it off like he was set up to be pranked that he was the only one supposed to be wearing a costume.
It's like that. We Are the Millers. Like, wait. You guys got paid to be here?
Yeah. I love David Harbour, man. Like, I think he's funny. A lot of people like kind of crapped on his Red Guardian, and a lot of people kind of crap on that Black Widow movie. I enjoy that movie. I think that movie was done wrong. When it came out on Disney streaming service at the same time it came out in theater around COVID times. That kind of hurt it, and then and because of how long it took to come out because of COVID, it really messed with the proper way in the timeline it needs to be come into play. But overall, I thought the movie was good. I mean, we're getting Red Guardian back out of it. Yelena's Taskmaster. I mean, so it's got some heavy hitting characters that we know is going to be carrying on in the future. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to Thunderbolts. I think it's going to be a riot. I think it's going to be so freaking fun.
It's a Marvel movie, so I'm going to go see it. So, doesn't matter.
Facts.
So speaking of, our Marvel stuff, what's next on our docket is Doomsday.
Yes. So we finally get the King Dynasty title change, and it's definitely not King Dynasty anymore. It is Avengers Doomsday, and it's still coming out on the same freaking date as they originally said it.
Yeah,
and now
May 1st.
Avengers Secret Wars colors have changed from silver to this very similar red and gold Iron Man color, which is wild. And when they, come out and they told the title change, and they're like, two epic movies, who else can we bring in than two epic directors that's already proven, that they can deliver? And so then they go ahead and announce that they're bringing out the Russo brothers.
Yay.
Yeah. And the Russo brothers said, it's a pretty big character, has a big play, in this storytelling. And what other person than the most perfect actor to actually carry such a difficult character and a big character than Robert Downey Jr.
Oh man.
And
Dude,
man,
when
I want to hear y'all's opinions on this.
So one, yes. All the way, yes. Love this. But like when he came out, he looked fucking badass. And then he like grabs the mask and he like takes it off. So I want to talk about that stance real quick. So that stance is the exact same stance as you see in Iron Man 1 when Stark Industries went ahead and like blew up like one of their missiles in like that mountainous terrain or whatever. And he's like, here's like the future. So I think that Dr. Doom, is gonna be Tony Stark, just like turned bad. We saw all of or we didn't see, but Strange had talked in I think Infinity War, right? That he had looked at all these futures, and this is the only future that is like going to save the planet. So
right,
he had to have seen this.
Man.
So I'm excited to see RDJ as Doom.
But you think he's coming from another multiverse, or
yes,
okay.
Yeah, that's my thought, is that it is Tony Stark, but like the evil Iron Man is
okay. So it's like he took a different path in life in another universe, and that's who he became.
Yeah.
Deontay, what's your opinion on this?
Man, these movies are coming out in 2026 and 2027, and we have several movies up before they come out. So that right there started with Deadpool and Wolverine when they made a reference to Doctor Strange or somebody that's from his academy, and that apparently Cassandra Nova killed. So we have good chance of seeing Doctor Strange in post credit scenes for the next two or three movies in a row minimum. And he just showing up with his circle, and he just like, I'm putting together a team, and
Just
that
lingering,
team
yeah.
is it's like, yo, he's about to he's gonna put his own Avengers together, and that's gonna be the squad that goes up against Doom, and probably the Beyonder might be the next big bad if that's the case.
You think they have time to bring in the Beyonder? Like, you think they could do it in like a one film pull off? Probably.
Yeah, it's like once you got rid of Kang the Conqueror and ushered in Doom for Secret Wars, like now you don't need anybody else. You just need those two, and you'll have a successful story.
Nice.
All
Yeah,
right,
I know.
Blake, what's your thoughts?
Well, I've like read so many different theories, and I've like heard so many references to comics, and like what I would like to see is this be a Tony Stark from, I'm not gonna lie, kind of like what you said a while ago, from another multiverse. Either a Tony Stark that did go down a wrong path and just wasn't the Stark that we know in the 616, or him not be a Stark at all. Let him be a Victor Von Doom, but in another universe, because he doesn't have to. He can look like that and still be a Victor Von Doom and never be Tony Stark. And I think I would almost want him to be a Victor Von Doom and not a Stark variant.
Okay.
I would like to see that. And then, we're having these incursions, and we were confirmed that this Doom is going to show up, I'm guessing toward the end, or have some kind of cameo in the Fantastic Four film. And he's going to be in both Avengers movies, they said. So what if because we know that Fantastic Four's universe is going to end, and that's how they're going to come over into ours. What if this is their Doom from that universe, and they're having the issue with incursions whatsoever, and he's wanting to save, because like if there's a storyline in the comics where he does this. Doom actually sets out to stop the incursions to save their universe, but then there's different ways to go about it that they all have disagreements on, and he ends up not being able to save the universe, and then he gets to where, fine, I'm just going to just completely destroy this other universe so ours is saved. And then he kind of gets worse and worse and worse, and so many turn against him. So I'm thinking maybe it's something like that, because I mean, if he's going to pop up in that other in the Fantastic Four movie, why else would he pop up in that movie unless they've already crossed over into another universe at the end or something? He pops up at the end. I don't know. There's so many things, but I would like to see that. I would like to see him be like some kind of variant. And then after Secret Wars, I don't see why they would end Fantastic Four family there at Secret Wars when they just came out. So let that variant of Doom die, and then give us the ultimate, Victor Von Doom after Secret Wars, and bring him in, and let this Tony variant or whatever finish off the Secret Wars multiverse storyline, and then we have a larger main Doom come into the future after that. That's what I'd like to see. But one thing, regardless whether he's a Stark variant, whether he's Von Doom, he's got the face. And can y'all imagine what the emotions are going to be like? And they're going to play with us, because this is too deep and too real to have when these two face each other.
Man, what comes to my mind is Robert Downey Jr.'s acting chops, because we all seen Oppenheimer, and we seen his performance as an antagonist. Like, what if he just elevates that up a notch? Like, he was a damn good antagonist too. What if he turned that up a notch for Victor Von Doom and blows us away with his performance? I see him doing it, but to see it in person, like in the theater, like, oh shit, he is like murderous evil,
right?
Like Victor Von Doom, and he's not our Tony. That's going to make people choke up a little bit.
Yeah,
but we're going to be happy too.
And did you know that Robert Downey Jr. actually applied like 20 years ago to be Victor Von Doom in the original Fantastic Four movie from the early 2000s, and he didn't get the role.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing and awesome that they brought him back then for this role.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the dollar signs that they had to do to get him back, but anything like the Russo bros are really our Avengers bros, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So like I don't think they can do wrong with Doomsday that's coming out in like May 1st of 2026, and then Secret Wars that's May 7th of 2027. Like it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, and like
Totally.
here's the other thing, and maybe it's just a random color change, and we're thinking too much into it. But to change the Secret Wars into the red and gold from Iron Man, I feel like there's some kind of meaning for that. I could be wrong, maybe not, but I mean they went out of their way to completely change the coloration when they could have left it silver.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'd like to wonder and kind of theorize eventually, you know, like what that might lead to or what it could be. But I heard that see, Robert Downey Jr. said he would only come back for a movie if the Russo brothers were the ones directing it. And so
Yeah.
the Russo brothers deal that they signed was $80 million to do both Avenger films, just for them two directors to get paid.
Oh my god.
And then the number for RDJ was not disclosed, but it said it was more than what the Russo brothers together were.
He is not no cheap man.
Mhm.
He is not
No.
no cheap man. That
I
was
mean,
my biggest worry. You could get somebody cheaper to play Victor Von Doom, and it's just
Yeah.
like, no, we got a plan with RDJ. Let us cook. It's like, all right.
Yeah. Like I'm here for it. I'm here to let them do their thing, show us what they can do. But I want another Doom after Secret Wars. I do. Because I don't want this to be our final main Doom and he's done and gone. I don't I'm here for whatever they're cooking up. I love RDJ. I think they'll pull it off. I don't think they'll screw this up. I really don't. I think they'll be well worth it once we finally get to see what it is. But give us Cillian Murphy or someone in, you know, to be our main Doom after Secret Wars.
Yeah, I have no complaints about RDJ having two roles. Like, I love Josh Brolin's performance as both Thanos and Cable, but I'm not begging for more Cable movies.
Right.
I will beg for more RDJ movies.
Yeah.
Shit, RDJ's been like acting since the 80s. Like, I'm down. Like,
and when he says this, I'm sitting here just thinking, there's so many things going through my head right now. You know, when he also makes the statement, "New mask, same task," that to me is either A, he is a Stark variant that's going to be Doctor Doom, and that's just going to be his, like, you know, his alter ego.
Because he has a new mask. Yeah.
Right. And the whole new mask, same task, you know, him trying to save the world. Maybe he is trying to save the world from incursion, but you know, he fails or goes about it the wrong way, and he goes way down a darker path, and it becomes this big bad guy. And once again, you know, Doom put together, you know, Battle World, and Battle World was different pieces of universes, land plots, you know, put together. Which, let's be honest, visually we have that already. It's the Void. The Void, you see desert, then you see grass, and you see woods. I mean, it's so many different things from different multiverses. Literally, his Doom could end up failing with the incursion situation, and they collide and get destroyed, but then they relocate all the hand-picked characters either by Wong or by him or whoever, and then we get our battle world in Doomsday and the Void, or in Secret Wars, one of the two. And I don't know. There's so many things that could happen. Like I'm pretty pumped. I'm not gonna lie. I'm excited.
Man,
it's hard not to be.
Yeah, I would tell you this. I definitely did not expect it. The unmasking in it to be him.
Yeah.
I did not expect it at all.
At all.
If anybody was saying that they were expecting it, they're lying. Like, come on.
Right.
Like, he said he was done.
Seriously.
So, like, nah.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
I don't know. I'm here for it. It can't get here quick enough. Like it's already paining me that we're not gonna have another movie till February now. Like we get Agatha, I think, in September.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I think that's all we're getting
for this year. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be like 26, or excuse me, not 26, 36. You'll be like 37 by the time those Avenger movies are dropping. So,
damn, you put your whole ass out there.
Yeah.
Well, no, I didn't even think about it that way until now. That actually hurts me more. I'm gonna be 3 years from 40 when Secret Wars comes out. Yeah. Oh my god.
Whew, man. We're gonna have
So
to
the
find
other thing
something.
that we did like not hear about Marvel in SDCC,
Mhm.
San Diego Comic-Con is Blade. So we didn't hear anything about Blade really at all. So that leads us to believe, obviously we're not going to get him in 2025. And so maybe in 2026 we'll hear something in
Hopefully.
2025 and it'll come out
Mahershala
then.
Ali's not getting any younger either, you know?
Yeah.
Mahershala Ali's only 11 years younger than Wesley Snipes. Like, the longer they wait, it's not looking good.
God, man.
Kind of wrapping up the SDCC stuff. They actually broke the U.S. record for biggest drone show, and
Ooh.
they didn't market it. They didn't tell anybody about it. It was a giant surprise to everybody that attended SDCC. And I'm gonna kind of go through about 8 pictures here. Like, it's insane. Like, if you get a chance to go to YouTube, just Google, YouTube it and find the video. It's amazing. But of course, most of it was Wolverine and Deadpool, since that was
Oh,
the big hot thing, you know.
Yeah.
But then once we get to the end, you'll see. I mean, it's beautiful, man. I couldn't imagine seeing that in real life.
I would be utterly amazed.
I
Then
could have
toward the
died right there.
for real. Then toward the end, you get the big Fantastic Four, and then they bring up Galactus.
Oh.
Yeah,
Which we saw a little bit of him in that trailer that they dropped
that's
in
right.
San Diego Comic-Con for Fantastic Four.
Yep, I forgot about
With
mentioning
just
that.
like the eyes.
Yeah.
So kind of curious about like because in the comics, like he's bigger than the world, right? So here,
hmm
like is he ending this world and that's how they get out of it?
Well, from what I seen was like you seen his like glare of his eyes in like like of a window of a giant skyscraper, which obviously he's way bigger than that. So, but you know how you've seen like in cartoons and different movies in the past where they can like summons their being to like show up in like glares of windows and glasses, but that's not
Okay.
actually how big they are. So I know some people are like, "Oh, he's bigger than that," but you can obviously see it's translucent. So I think it's just him appearing his glare in this glass, and it's kind of giving you an idea. Obviously, he's large, but a lot of people's already picking that apart. I'm like, good God, like it's just glaring
Yeah.
in a glass. It's not him; it's translucent. So I think he's projecting his being down there, just kind of like
Okay.
overlooking things.
He's
Kind
a
of like
really
the
powerful
Watcher.
character too, so he could just change his shape and size too. So there's been plenty of
Yeah.
times where he's visited the Fantastic Four the same size as them, maybe like just a little bit taller, and then when he
hmm
goes back to space, he's full on like I'm going to
Gotcha.
eat your planet now.
Now, one thing we didn't get no pictures of or anything, speaking of Fantastic Four, was we didn't see nothing about Silver Surfer and like the girl that's going to be playing her. She was not on stage, so they're
Mhm.
keeping all that hush hush, quiet.
I
But
can
other things that did come out in SDCC, we got to kind of hear a little bit about the boys prequel, which is called Vought Rising.
We did.
yeah.
So with a little bit of Google searching, there is no release date really for this, but it is set in 1950s, and we do get to see Soldier Boy and Stormfront. And this is kind of like I think I read that it was like a murder mystery kind of
Hmm.
setting, and it's the origin story of Soldier Boy, and you get to see them like team up and go around the world.
That'd be cool.
That I
Like,
mean,
I'm
that's
here
going to
for it.
be that's going to be lots of action. It's basically a live action Captain America TV show in a sense. So if you always wanted a Captain America TV show, Soldier Boy storylines is where it's at.
And they also were thinking, like in the articles that I read, that maybe Homelander will show up eventually in this series, maybe towards the end. So,
Yeah, it'd be like, that's my son.
yeah,
Daddy!
As many boys spinoffs they want to give us, I'm here for it. Like,
hmm
I'm so here for it. We're having to wait too long as it is for season 5. So
and Gen V. So, like
Right.
we're just waiting at this point. Something else that was brought up is the Rings of Power season 2. So this is coming on Prime August 29th. You got to see a trailer. So if you look on YouTube, the trailer is available for you to watch. And you get to see Sauron. And that's pretty cool. Like before he becomes
heck yeah.
like evil, like Sauron.
Right.
So you get to hear like his voice and like the evilness and everything, and it sounds so cool.
I'm here
I
for
kind
it.
of
Well,
blacklisted Lord of the Rings, so I haven't seen anything from that franchise on
Okay.
purpose.
Well,
oh,
some people were really upset with how season 1 was, but the articles that have come out about this trailer and season 2 coming, is that like it makes it look good again. Um,
Ooh.
so I'm excited, just because like it does look badass. So
we need some
something,
good. That's two things, Lord of the Rings, that we're getting that hopefully are going to be
yes,
great. Kind of
yeah.
revive that mark.
Yeah, and that's coming out this year, in August. But then you also have the animated War
Oh yeah.
movie that's coming out in
hmm
December, and then we had the Gollum thing that's coming
The
out,
Hunt
I
for
think,
Gollum.
next year.
Yeah.
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 So we have some Lord of the Rings content coming out, and I am a big Lord of the Rings fan, so I'm excited. And it's on a streaming service that I already have, so I'm gonna watch it.
There you go. I need to watch season one. I've not seen season one. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, as in the original trilogy,
Mhm.
extended version. Only way to watch it.
Oh yeah.
So when the Hobbit trilogy came out, I was okay with it, but it did not pull me in like the original trilogy did. And so Power of the Rings or Rings of Power, I've not actually seen yet.
Yeah, you got to see in the trailer, them wearing the rings that Sauron
Mhm.
ended up giving them, and like they're like, if you put these rings on, just realize the repercussions of it happening. And she's like, oh no, it's a pretty ring. I'm gonna put it on anyway. And then like you get to kind of see in the trailer that she's like, I shouldn't have done it, and you're like, no
Mhm.
shit.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
Now you just start waiting for her to say, "My precious."
You get to see one of the rings kind of like go into that like water where
Mhm.
like you ended up seeing Gollum
Oh, really?
from.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
kind of looking like the same kind of water, so maybe it's the same lake. I don't know. Maybe there's
Mm.
like a meaning behind that,
Right.
but we don't know at this point.
Heck yeah. I'm here
Mm.
for it. I need to get caught up, but I'm here for it.
But the next
Uh,
thing
yep.
on San Diego Comic Con is Dexter.
Ooh,
Yes.
Dexter.
Blake,
So
you want to talk
freaking
about that a
excited.
little bit?
Yes. So two things of Dexter, not just one, but two. We are getting Dexter Original Sin, and we are getting Dexter Resurrection. So the Original Sin is going to be a prequel, and it's going to show Dexter's character back as a kid, kind of the struggles and things he went with his dad growing up, and try to refrain from killing the wrong way or killing it all. Is there really a right way?
Well, no,
I
he
mean,
was teaching him to kill animals in the right way and
Right, right.
using them the right way, but it was
I
his
just
way
didn't
of
want that to be taken the wrong way, thinking that yeah,
yeah,
you
yeah.
can kill bad guys, but
I
not good
mean, he
guys.
needs gasoline on his body.
But one cool thing with the prequel Original Sin is obviously Michael C. Hall can't play a kid, even though they tried to give us that in the original Dexter series by putting a wig on him, and it was really a bad portrayal of a young Dexter. But Michael C. Hall will be actually narrating and being his inner voice that you hear talk throughout the whole show, which is awesome. And then also you get the Resurrection, which Michael C. Hall will be coming back for Dexter.
Mhm.
I love Dexter. You cannot get enough of it.
Yeah. His
When
little
is it?
blood slide.
Resurrections? Is it supposed to come out or is it supposed to start filming in summer 2025?
So it starts filming in January of next
Okay,
year, and then it's going to release in the summer of
gotcha.
2025.
Nice. I'm here
Yeah.
for it. I
Mhm.
I love Dexter. If you haven't watched the series, right now would be a time to do it. But and what's great is like if anybody is a big Dexter fan, he always came into his workplace with carrying donuts. He actually came on stage. They brought all the cast announcements out but him, and then they announced him last. And he came on the stage carrying an open box of donuts and giving them
That's
to everybody
amazing.
like he did in this show. Yeah.
Damn.
So super pumped, super excited.
So do you think we're gonna see like Deborah again?
I
In
don't I don't know. Well,
okay.
Original Sin will probably see her as a kid, I'm
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
Resurrection, I don't know. I'm kind of curious where they're going to go with this because we've seen, where they went with the last one they did that came out finally years later.
Mhm.
But I'm kind of curious if they're going to kind of reunite a lot of those characters or if he's going to go a completely different route away and they're just going to bring a bunch of new characters in. I don't know. As long as Michael C. Hall's still in it, that's the main thing. Like, nobody can play Dexter but him as an adult.
Man.
True.
But all right. So we did get some DC news. Not a whole lot, but we did get some DC news. So actually, we'll start with the logo first. I guess that'd be make more sense to start off. So they gave us the DC logo for the new DC Studios at Gun starting off, and honestly, I think simpler is better. It has that nostalgic look, anyways, from the old DC comics. Not a whole lot of thought got put into it, but but at the same time, I mean, everybody knows that emblem. Everybody does. They just got through on the word studios. What y'all thoughts on the logo? Are y'all cool with it, or do you think that they could have been a little bit more creative and try to do something new?
Deontay, what you got?
I think it's dripping. I feel like this would look good on like a Letterman jacket. Oh my god, I would buy that motherfucker right out the gate. You're like, oh, you got those on sale? Bad. Give me like 6 of them. I'm gonna dedicate all to my friends. And DC honestly never cared about the logo. if you want me to be completely honest,
Right.
But if you gave me like some clothes, like a fashion line with that symbol on it, that'd be pretty fire. I bet a lot of people would take to it pretty quick and be like, yeah, man, Marvel doesn't have this shit. Take that.
I don't know. I think simple is better. I do like the Marvel logo. Like they do have like the simplified version of it where it's just like red and silver or other colors. But I think that this is like a cool logo and it's just like clean.
It is. And then also I think it represents. So one thing that James Gunn put out a video over the weekend, with their announcements, was saying that he's really wanting to bring back the nostalgic of the old DC comics. And he says that's why he's doing the characters starting in these movies. He's wanting to go back to what everybody loved in the comics and kind of give that more comic-y feel and not so much the realistic feel. And so that's kind of the route he's going, and that kind of helped with the decision on the DC logo is what he said as well. So we'll see.
And I hope he gets DC right.
Huh?
I hope he gets DC right.
I do too. I hope we're giving our opinions right now, and I would rather be proven wrong. We get a whole nother comic line, a different company comic line of successful movies that are great. I mean, that's just more for us to feast on. Let's be honest.
Please.
We just want it to be good. That's all we ask, Yeah. So.
We did get to see the new logo in the Creature Commandos. We got to see it in that trailer. What do you guys think about this animated series that's coming to Max in December?
So I personally am not familiar with Creature Commandos until I read a little bit about them. Then I watched this trailer. And it seems like it's an animated Suicide Squad, but with the MonsterVerse.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Viola Davis coming back as Amanda Waller. She's given the same speech in this trailer like she did with the Suicide Squad. So I'm like, y'all didn't get super extra creative, but but you have Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr., David Harbour as Eric Frankenstein, Sean Gunn back as Weasel, Alan Tudyk as Dr. Phosphorus. So it's pretty much exactly what it is, a Suicide Squad, but with monster characters. The animation looks good. It's a fun trailer. I think I'm going to watch it. I'm definitely here to watch it. I hope it's great, which we know DC's always been pretty decent with their animation, no matter what they've done throughout the years. So I think it's a little weird having like Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein in this group and whatever they might go out and do. It's a little different, but I'm willing to give it a shot.
Yeah, and James Gunn is the one that's like one of the producers of this. So I'm excited for that. The GI like robot that we see kind of reminds me of like Iron Man, or not Iron Man, sorry, Iron Giant. Like his face kind of looks similar to me.
He does. I didn't think about that.
I saw it and I just like paused it and I was like, what is that? Is that? Nah, that's just somebody else. All right, cool.
Yeah, Creed in the background.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a thing. I'll watch it.
Yeah. Is it supposed to be like an adult animated series or?
I think it's leaning towards that way. Yeah, I
Yeah, because
think
she
it's going to
flips
lean.
off the camera
That's right. Yeah, she flips off the camera, so I'm gonna think
in
yeah, it's
the
adult
trailer.
animated.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so lots of violence, lots of cussing, and maybe some boinking in there. Right up James Gunn's alley.
Yeah, he's about that.
Yeah.
Because in the trailer, like the bride, when it says like the bride next to her, because they had like their little like montage of it's the bride, and she's like,
Yep.
"Meh." And I was like, okay.
Sassy.
Which hey, cartoons aren't just for kids. Us adults need good cartoons. So
Facts.
And not just anime, we like
right.
everything.
Mm-hmm. Just give us
Exactly.
violence. We're good.
Yes.
We did
Let's
get to see
see.
some footage.
Yep, we did. It's the
Of
last
Superman.
the
Yeah.
last season of Superman and Lois, I believe.
Yeah, it's a season finale, season 4.
So one cool thing is they get to see some footage, and we get to see Superman versus Doomsday, and they paid homage to the original comic cover actually. And I'm not going to lie, for this to be like a TV show off on the side, I mean, it's pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. That I know, like they don't have the budget like the big movies and stuff does, but for them to be that close to the cover of the original comic, I think it looks phenomenal.
Yeah, there's definitely some DC fan appreciation going on here with some of these content that they're releasing.
Yeah. So this is coming out October 17th. So the first episode is actually going to be 2 episodes that they're going to have a 2-hour premiere. And then it's going to come out weekly after that on the CW. So like in the trailer, you got to kind of see like Superman's eyes do the laser thing, and like Doomsday with his like fire, and it looked like like they're like competing against each other. And I was just like, that actually looks kind of cool. Yeah. I don't have CW, but I won't be watching this one. But it looks pretty neat.
From what I'm told, it's like the most successful show in the CW verse. So if you want to check anything out, watch Superman and Lois.
So yeah, I don't have CW, but there's some streaming service I have that it's on. I can't remember what it's on, but
Max.
Yeah, it is on Max, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So actually, I just recently started watching the first season, and it's different, but it's not bad. Like it's not bad at all. I mean, for it being a CW show, anyways.
You said it's different, like it's different.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the storyline. Like I'm not used to a storyline, with him having 2 kids and stuff like that. So you got the family drama, the struggles of them being in high school and stuff like that. But I don't know, it's not bad so far. But I've only watched I think 3 or 4 episodes into it.
Okay.
And last DC news we got was Penguin trailer that released the new Penguin trailer. And they also confirmed to let us know that, after we get to see the Penguin kind of, pretty much the show is going to be about is the Penguin grasping and gaining power over Falcone's daughter. Falcone's daughter comes back and they butt heads, and they're pretty much in a power struggle, and he's pretty much building, his mob up in Gotham City. And this is taking place 1 week after the Batman Part 1. And they did confirm that the Penguin will be back in Batman Part 2. So,
yeah, this comes out on September 19th. It's going to be on Max. In the trailer, you got to see this like really cool souped up like purple car. I was like, yeah. And Sophia, Falcone's daughter, she played the actual mom in How I Met Your Mother. So to see this like evil kind of like dark side brooding side of her, I'm just like, yeah, this is going to be kind of cool.
Oh yeah, well he thought she was still in Arkham Asylum, and it shows like a little flashback of her in Arkham, and she's like bashing her head up against something.
She was with a cafeteria tray. She was like hitting the shit out of some chick, and I was like,
"That's what it was."
Yeah, there's so many different routes you can take with this show. I'm hoping it lets us meet more Matt Reed's villains for his universe, and I would love to see like a Deadshot appearance in this
That'd
show.
be cool. I'm not gonna lie. After seeing the trailer, the couple trailers that are out, I'm interested. Like I'm not like, ooh, I'm super invested, but it's definitely caught my interest. I will say that.
I love Oswald Cobblepot. So I mean, like I love the Penguin. Danny DeVito,
Oh yeah.
and now, yeah. Just Yes. But there is one other thing that did come out of DC, but not part of the San Diego Comic-Con. We got to see, or was it we saw? But Batman, the Caped Crusader.
Yep.
So this had a trailer come out. It's going to be on Amazon Prime coming August 1st. And it's actually all 10 episodes at once. One of the producers is J.J. Abrams, and I was like, oh.
Hey, my kind of dude.
It looks good, actually.
Yeah, so the critics are actually saying that this is like the scariest, most mature Batman that we have seen to date. So I'm.
And the trailer, I'm not sure. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on this. But from what I've seen on the animation, it looks like it's taking place like in the 60s.
It is.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I watched the trailer for the first time today. I'm like, I'm kind of digging this. Like, it's giving good vibes. So
it looks really good too. Crazy thing about Caped Crusader is supposedly he's getting backlash right now because Oswald Cobblepot is a woman in this series.
Oh yeah, so Oswalda Cobblepot.
Oswalda Cobblepot.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
They're just like, where you gonna change her? So it's like, bro, just let them cook. Watch the show first before you complain. Like,
yeah, you can't complain until you watch it. Then you can give your opinion and whether you like it or not. But the animation is good.
You had a photo of this one, right?
I don't.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
No, I thought I meant to get it, but I didn't get one. I'll only get one I got was of the pink one that I didn't throw up earlier. So
it's all good. It's all good.
But the animation slightly reminds me of the 90s Batman animation.
It does.
It gives me like that heavy feel of that style animation, and I think that's what drew me to it.
I feel like it's going to have a really good script that comes with it. And honestly, Penguin is not a character whose gender I give a damn about. It was like, you can make him a woman. I don't care. I'm gonna watch this shit anyway because it's Penguin doing Penguin shit.
Right. I mean, if you've seen the animation for the Oswalda Cobblepot, it very much still looks like Penguin, but maybe with I think some lipstick and earrings. Yeah.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Oh, why you guys do that?
I think for news, that's about all we got tonight, isn't there? Or is there anything we might have missed? Yeah.
No, that's it.
So we already get into the spoiler full review of Deadpool Wolverine.
Yes.
I'll let one of y'all kick it off. Feel free.
Oh man. All right. The first thing I wanted to talk about is the fact that it is charting so high. So the opening weekend, it surpasses like $200 million dollars, and it's like the biggest R-rated debut to date. It's actually sitting at like number 6 right now, which is above Black Panther, but still beneath like your Avengers Endgame kind of stuff. Overall feelings though, dude, I loved it. So I was completely satisfied leaving. I did want more just because I loved it so much that I wanted more. What were your guys' overall feelings of the movie?
Go ahead, Deontay.
I'm spiritually reliving it right now. It's like there's one moment in particular where I was asking for it for months, several months at a time. And I'm just like, you do this one favor for me, automatic 10 out of 10. And they did it. They fucking did it. They made Hugh Jackman put the fucking mask on for Wolverine.
The cowl.
The cowl. Dude, he hasn't worn that thing his entire career as Wolverine. And he finally puts it onto this movie. And I'm like, I'm about to have a seizure and and a heart attack at the same time, like seeing this scene. And it was like peak Marvel comic books action. We met the Deadpool core in this movie, straight out the comics. We got to see a somewhat comic accurate Gambit.
He was wearing the get up.
He has the full on get up.
Yeah, we'll show the cameos here in just a second. That way, you can, like, they know exactly. If you haven't, you're here just to see spoilers. We get pictures for you.
I got you.
And that Cajun dialect that he got roasted about. Oh my god!
And when Deadpool just looks at him and is like, "What in the world are you saying?" Like,
there's so many great jokes, like just on him being Gambit. Like, yeah, it was phenomenal.
Man.
The jokes were there.
yeah,
Channing was the perfect guy for the job.
So,
overall, my feelings of it is I was very fulfilled. Like once again, I don't. It was so great. I mean, the buddy duo, love-hate relationship, the cameos were great. The storyline. If I had to nitpick something to death, and I wanted to just give something one little mark, I would say I would have liked to have a little bit more depth of emotion added in with everything. Other than that, it was perfect. I'm not gonna lie. Like it literally was great. I had a great time. I mean, I've already seen it 3 times, so yeah.
Damn.
But I don't know. Visually, it was great. I mean, the fight scenes were phenomenal. The music and the fourth wall breaks were spot on.
Oh,
I mean,
the proposal.
Yeah, there was just, you could tell there was so much passion and thought and love and care from the fandom and just people who just are great people. Like you could tell there was so much put into this, and it worked. It definitely worked.
Big time.
Yeah,
I'm not even a Wolverine fan. I just like Wolverine a lot.
I'm a huge Wolverine fan.
Are you a Culverine fan?
Yeah, that's the other thing. We get all the Wolverine variants.
Yeah,
we'll go down the line real quick and we'll name them off. I only got a picture of one, and it was the only one I felt like that was worth putting up here. But we got the Cavalrine.
Yes.
Oh, Cavalrine. And I love how when Deadpool's there, he's like, "We'll treat you so much better than those shit fucks down the road." And he's like, "And this feels so right." I'm not gonna lie, it did feel right. It felt so right.
He was such a massive, he's such a massive Wolverine. My God.
Then we get our kind of semi-comic accurate mini Wolverine that hops off of the bar stool, which was freaking hilarious. And like you have so many people who, they're like, "Oh, Hugh Jackman's too tall, or this person's too tall. We need a more comic accurate." That was close to comic accurate on height. Do y'all really want a Wolverine on screen like that? I mean, no.
We're good on that.
Can we call it midget Marine? Is that too far?
Wade called him that.
Yeah. Then we get Patch, which we had so many people with their theories thinking it was Daniel Radcliffe or Carl Urban. It ended up being Hugh Jackman. We get the crucified Wolverine on the Giant X from Uncanny X-Men number 251, which was like an iconic cover art. We get Old Man Logan sitting on the front porch, which was pretty great.
With the shotgun?
Blows him off with a shotgun under his blanket. We get the Age of Apocalypse Logan, which is the grotesque, like hairy looking Logan with the adamantium sleeve, which was flames everywhere. That he was pretty sick, powerful looking too.
And is that the one that we got to see the Hulk with?
No, that's the next one. So John Byrne Wolverine, which is the brown and yellow outfit. And we get him, he does his claws. We see the reflection of the Hulk in it, which is another cover art identical to that. And we get to see the back of the Hulk. And I love Loki when he starts yelling at the Hulk. He starts talking to him like Loki, saying the same words that Loki did in Avengers 1 when he was yelling at the Hulk. It's phenomenal. So those variants were great. Definitely not what I expected. I seen false leaks, had my own theories. I did think we were going to get a couple of different other actors in as variants, but overall, I think they were done great. I think they paid great tribute to comic book fans in this movie as well. You can tell this wasn't just about movies and them just trying to make it the next dollar. There was a lot of comic fandom in this that I feel like, I don't care if you're a fan of just the movies, of the cartoons, or of the comics, they literally gave something for everybody to eat on in this. And
and another Wolverine that we actually did get to see was Deadpool putting on like his adamantium like his skull, and then like the claws came out for like the Deadpool and Wolverine logo behind him. That was pretty sick.
No, I'm not gonna lie. When he did that, he did this. I was like, I'm not gonna lie. This is probably one of the sickest scenes I've ever seen Deadpool do.
Hands down.
When he strapped those on, and oh my god, yeah,
Yeah.
that was
poster
clever.
Of that in like a steel shot on my wall, just like, oh,
Dude,
man.
for real. Yes, no, because that was epic. That was super epic. And I mean, too many people or a lot of people probably think it's cheesy, but like the whole intro with it being bye 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 and him taking out all those TV agents, it was great. Like it worked so great.
No,
Yeah,
the
there's a lot
question
of content
is,
creators recreating that right now too.
Yeah.
So it's iconic.
the question though is that like, did Ryan Reynolds actually learn the dance of Bye Bye Bye? Like, it was actually that choreographed from the music video that they had used, or did they use like a double that wore the suit and he didn't learn the moves itself?
So I actually seen a post where it was a double.
Okay.
But then I seen an interview where a guy was talking about Ryan. A guy was asking Sean Levy, about him learning it and how long did it take him to get it down. And Sean Levy didn't like acknowledge what he said, but talked about that subject, like walked around the question. So I truly think, I'm not saying Ryan Reynolds didn't learn it, or there might not been some scenes with him doing it, but from overall, it was actually another guy.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be surprised if he actually did it. Like, if
I would like them to have done it, knowing that he
Yeah.
learned it as well and a double did it. I'm like, all right, that'd be cool. That just make Ryan that much more cooler. So
Right. It was like you mastered that dance routine. I mean, it
Yeah.
is kind of a basic dance routine, but he mastered it. I'm proud of you, Ryan.
And he may have still learned it with his double, because actually in one of those interviews, Sean Levy and Ryan Reynolds have a movie they're working on in their pocket. I think just writing. It's not like official or nothing like that. But he said it's actually about boy bands. And so Sean Levy's like, it goes to show you how much passion we have for that song, because we're already working on a movie like on the back burner right now. It's something to do with boy bands.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
The other pools that we saw, the cameos, we got to see Lady Pool in all of her glory, and she just had a baby, but you couldn't tell because
Another shout out to Blake Lively.
Oh my god.
Hey, the other Blake.
Yeah. We got to see Cowboy Pool, who was played by Matthew McConaughey. Yeah. All right. And another one that I want to talk about is Headpool, that was played by Nathan Fillion.
The man that has the bad bowl cut dressed as Green Lantern. Yes.
And that's our guy Gardner, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. And he's Cade 6 in Destiny.
Yes. Yes,
Rest
he
in
is.
Peace.
You still haven't played Final Shape.
And he's also yet. He's also in that TV show Castle, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
And Firefly.
Yeah. And Firefly.
Yep.
Yeah. He's the main captain in Firefly that plays with Vanessa from Deadpool. So.
Oh, that's right, Marina. Yeah.
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 Fillion's
the man.
Another cameo that we got to see that I geeked out and I definitely screamed in the theater was Blade.
Oh, yeah. Let me throw this up here for y'all. We can talk about all these characters.
Boom.
Yes. You got to see Blade, and then you also right there, you have Channing Tatum as Gambit. The Gambit that never was.
Make you no never mind.
Yeah. He's like, for all I know, I was born out of here.
But she got Elektra too. Jennifer Gardner's Elektra.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Laura.
Mm-hmm.
She was kind of cut out the picture,
but my favorite one, I gotta say, that so first you heard the voice and you knew that was Chris Evans' voice, and you got to see just the back of him. And then he reaches out and you get to see kind of like that red, white, and blue on his arm. So you're
such a mislead.
Oh, and then he jumps down. He does the superhero landing. And then he said, and then Deadpool's like, oh, he's going to say it. He's like, Avengers Assemble. And he says, what? Go ahead.
Flame on.
Flame
he
on.
does.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But then Pyro,
It was so great. So great. Yeah, well, I never really thought about, Pyro against him, and I guess anybody can make it to whatever they want with their powers, but I'm like, shoot, Pyro really would be a heck of a match for Johnny Storm.
Yeah, he would. It was Like,
Oh
y'all
man,
put him
that was
there on
amazing.
purpose.
Oh man, it's
We're
so
talking
great.
about like Avengers versus X-Men, and I mean that
Oh
it,
god.
it was good stuff. Good stuff.
It was, and then
Find
like
Johnny
I
a
don't,
new opponent, please.
and I love how like he gets killed and he acts like he didn't say any of that stuff, and then I hate that we didn't get a connectivity in credit scene. But it cracked me up that he was so petty that he went out of his way to prove to the audience that he really did say that. So it wasn't him that got Chris Evans killed.
Yeah.
Chris
I
Evans
love
got himself killed.
right. I love too when she kills Chris right there on spot. And Deadpool immediately goes, "Wasn't my favorite Chris, anyways."
Wow.
Because we get to see Chris Hemsworth as Thor, who's holding Deadpool in the TVA, one of the screens in the TVA, and then Paradox is like, "Oh, turn it off! Like that's not happening yet."
In the distant future.
Yeah, and you get to see Chris Evans, or sorry, not Chris Evans, Thor, holding Deadpool, and crying over like him dying,
and it's in the
or
same
whatever.
form that he was actually holding Loki in Thor 2 at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious. I'm sure we'll get tribute to that in Secret Wars because I think they paid too much attention to that in this movie because him constantly waking up saying, "Oh, God of Thunder" or "Oh, Thor" or whatever.
Yeah.
They focused on that too much. I think they're going to pay homage to that later on, and I'm assuming it's going to be Secret Wars.
That is my theory as well. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so many great things. Emma Corrin, oh my God, played a great Cassandra.
She sure did. Such a powerful
Cassandra Nova,
character.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. With the
Professor
fingers
X's
through
sister.
the eyes.
Yeah, and what's great about like her doing that is like that's actually a comic accurate thing. Like the way she did, like through their face and through their head and all that. That's literally how the artwork was in the comics. So that was cool. And like her fingers are long, so like she wore those prosthetics on her fingertips, and which made her hands just even look more gross doing all that. Like, yeah.
Yeah, she is such a powerful telepath, man. Like big bad level telepath. And it's just like, whoo, that's Professor X unhinged. And
For
Deadpool
real.
and his crew had to figure out how to stop her.
And then I love the moment of like how they kind of like got along where Wolverine goes up and he's like, Charles would have like fought for you through the ends of the earth if he knew you were alive, and then she ended up not killing them in that instance because of that. And I was just like, oh, that's such a sweet moment.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, she nailed it. I really hope that we actually have not seen the end of her character. I think that would be a huge waste of a character to be one and done in this. I would like to see, like, we see her get obliterated, with the the timeline stripper, whatever you want to call it. I forgot what its name is, but but anyways, I would like to like maybe her get sent back to the void or something like that. Maybe that's what happened to her, because she's like super powerful, and I would love to see more of her story, but then also see her do a lot more in a storyline.
Is there a storyline in the comics where Cassandra Nova and Professor X ever meet?
I don't know. I know they met in the womb.
Yeah.
That didn't work out too well for her.
She tried to choke him out with an umbilical cord.
So I don't know much about her comic line. I'm going to say more than likely, but I can't speak on that. I'd have to do some research.
Yeah, I'd be excited to see that if like Logan goes back and tells Professor X that this like his twin is alive and in the void, and then like somehow she comes out and they meet up, and I don't know, like that. I would love to see that.
For sure.
And that's going to be a very painful reunion. One thing about Professor X is him and his siblings, they reunite on really bad terms.
Yeah. Juggernaut's a stepbrother, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just like, Juggernaut wants him dead so bad.
and James McAvoy was asked just over this weekend too. He's like, would you ever, if you were asked, would you ever return be as Professor X again? He's like, hands down, yes. He's like any great line. He's like any great character arc was a great story. He's like, I've made it very known that I will come back as Professor Xavier anytime they ask me to. And I think he would be the perfect one to come back because it's closer to age with him and Emma Corrin. Yeah. I would love to see them together in a movie. And oh my God, them battling it out. It'd be sick.
Oh man, the telepath battle.
Yeah, James McAvoy is such a great actor too. I've not seen anything that he's not been able to nail. So
yeah.
I also love the cameo with Blade where they make the jab at Marvel with all the Blade rewrites, where Wesley Snipes stands up with that AT4 of the Punishers, and he's like, "There's only one Blade. There's only ever gonna be one Blade."
Completely
like,
writes off the TV series that was made as well, but like,
yeah,
that was hilarious.
yeah,
yeah. The theater that me and Blake go to, like, they're like usually when there's like a big like superhero movie release night, like there's not a lot of reaction in the audience, and it'd be like some really good moments that you could react to. When Deadpool and Wolverine came on, everybody in the audience had something to say about these scenes.
For real, it was never quiet, like in a good sense, though.
Yeah. It's just like, oh wow, Blade just made a nasty jab at Marvel.
Like, what shocked me too, and Ryan and Sean said this, throughout all these interviews too. They're like, I'm just shocked at like what Disney and Marvel allowed them to do, and they're dissing on Disney, dissing on Marvel. I mean, there's even the point where he's like, don't worry, you came into a bit of a low point in Marvel, I mean, like straight up, and then you get them that when they're about to go up against the Deadpool core, and he's like, can we be over this multiverse thing? It's been hit and miss. It's really not working. And then I love how Nice Pool behind him goes, I think it's been pretty steady since Endgame. I love how Nice Pool is the only non-regenerative Deadpool.
He speaks on my behalf.
He just wanted those gold-plated 50 cals.
He loves Phase 4 and Phase 5 and Phase 6.
Yeah.
The jab at Deadpool, or not Deadpool, sorry, Daredevil. Where they're like, "Where's Daredevil?" And he's like, "Oh, he's dead." and Deadpool looks at like Elektra and was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and she's like, "It's fine." I was like, "Damn."
Yeah. Jab at the. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. If you have something to say about this, go ahead. Because I was gonna move on to something else.
Yeah, so like, well, that being the jab at her ex-husband Ben Affleck, but then as serious and I mean pretty big thing it was for Hugh. They even brought in the joke of Hugh's divorce.
Yeah,
where
exactly what I was about to say.
Where he's like, oh, he's normally shirtless in his other movies, but
he
since April, since the divorce, he's let his body go. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my god.
You're like, wow.
Yeah, like I know that's a pretty personal. That was a pretty personal thing for him, but. And I think there's a deal where I watched Ryan. Ryan's like, I can't believe Hugh just like, yeah, sure, that's fine. He's like, I almost guarantee he's going to tell me take that out. You ain't putting that in there.
These dudes got military grade level thick skin, man. All these jokes are just designed to destroy them, and they're just like, all right, I'm just going to keep on acting.
Yes.
I literally, when that happened in the movie in the theater, I was like, oh my god.
Jesus Christ. That's the level of camaraderie we all need to have. It's just
yeah, for real. For real. World would be a lot better place.
Yeah.
Salt in the wound every day.
So, what would be, if you had to pick a favorite moment out of the movie, what would you two pick?
So, I have two because the same thing with like songs, like it was hard for me to choose. So I have two. So my first one is when they were playing Like a Prayer, and they were holding that like those two time things, and
his shirt ripped off.
Yes.
Oh.
So the top one I think is like the shirt ripping off, because he's like, I didn't let my body go, and this is how I'm gonna show you. And until Like a Prayer by Madonna, that was amazing. And then the other one is You're the One I Want.
Oh yeah,
the scene inside of the Honda Odyssey, and the fact that they were just like fucking each other up in it. And then the next scene that you see is like Deadpool like wrapped in the seatbelt. That was amazing. That whole like close quarter scene, that was pretty legit. So those
what pisses me off is they gave us like a half-second interval of The Greatest Showman or The Greatest Show, and then it goes off straight to You're the One That I Want, which I'm not mad about that song playing, but could have gave us a little bit more play of that song.
We wanted to sing along, man. That's what we wanted to do.
Well, literally, as soon as we heard it and it went off, Deontay already knew I was let down because he's like, "Oh man."
The first thing I did was I turned my head slowly, like, "Oh shit." I had two top two moments in the movie. I'm on the fence about what my number 2 is going to be, but I have to have one. But I mentioned this earlier in the show. My number 1 is definitely when Hugh put the mask cowl on and went full on Wolverine for the first time in like 20 something years. And he went to town on all these different Deadpools. So that whole scene was hilarious, man.
It was.
I've been obsessed with it. And you got to see the Stan Lee Easter egg on the side of the bus that they were fighting on.
Yeah.
And then
I actually didn't see that in the movie until I was watching the new Rockstars like breakdown. And then I saw it and I was just like all teary-eyed. And I looked at AB and I was like, that is just so sweet. They like are keeping it in there. I love that so much.
Yeah, Stan Lee was a highlight of that same scene. And then the comedy of just thinking that they won the fight against the Deadpool Corps and everybody else stands up just like, oh, you thought this shit was over? And the only way they would have gotten out of that is because Peter showed up at the last second to say, hey, guys, these dudes are cool.
Have fun with my Peter.
And Peter's officially a Peter Pool now. So it's, I can give that my number 2 because when he showed up, everything changed. And Peter Pool.
Can we talk about the Peter Pool package? Because that,
man.
I was like, oh damn!
I mean, it turned Hunter B15 on. So she's like, you look damn good in that suit.
Let's go talk later. You want to go get a drink? Let's go get some tea. I don't know. What do you want to drink? Eat? I don't care. Like, let's go.
Oh man!
Whenever you see a closed door, always knock.
So my favorite number 1, probably top 2, but number 1 is going to be actually where they both bust out of the rear of that bust, and we get to see live version, him full cow, them posing, coming in the air, him like this, Deadpool about to make an awful landing, but in that split moment in slow motion where they're coming both out of that rear of that bus, like to see that and it not be a cartoon animation or anything, my heart was full. Like, oh my god. And and Logan, Hugh literally said, he's like, I can't believe it's been this many years and I've just not put on this yellow suit. He said, honestly, if I ever portray this character ever again, he said, I can't imagine doing it without the suit now. Yeah. But then my other one would have to be with Gambit, Blade, and all of them fighting. They're in their arena, their little area, while they're trying to get up there to Cassandra. I just love the nostalgia of seeing these characters that we grew up watching as kids. We may shit talk their movies now, but as kids, those movies were awesome. And these movies and these characters help pave the way for the MCU to even, get a stepping stone and to build a better foundation. So you have to give your credit where credit's due. They might not have been the greatest movies, but they still help pave that way to get where we are today.
Yeah.
So that would probably be my top 2 favorites.
Because I mean, if they didn't make that bad Wolverine Origins with that Deadpool, like, would we ever have the Deadpool we have now? Because Ryan Reynolds wouldn't be salty enough to make it,
Yeah.
Right.
So like I love that. And like that first like cut scene or after credit scene, where it was just like all of the makings of the movies that we had watching growing up, and I was just like, this is amazing. Because
so I'll be honest with you, that's the most emotional. That's the only part in the movie that actually got me slightly emotional was just seeing them going through all them clips from just what we grew up on.
Yeah.
And I didn't cry or anything, but like I got like a slight lump in my throat. I'm like, man, it's kind of emotional just seeing that and then seeing where we're at today and how they incorporated that. Yeah.
Dude, that so much nostalgia came from that. It's just like, oh, look, it's Chris Evans back when he was auditioning for the role. Oh, look, you get to see all these different stunt doubles and stuff that they were doing behind the scenes, and
100%.
You get to see old Cyclops, old Jean Grey, and it just felt like home watching this movie.
It did. Like I can still tell you to this date, in the year 2000, I was 12, I think, 11, 12. And I still remember sitting down for the very first X-Men movie and watching it, and like I have that it's burnt in my head. Like me and my dad went to go see it, and it's kind of a slight funny story, real quick. So they had those we got one of those massive cups to share, soda cups, and we sat it between us. And he told me, he's like, "Hey, when you pick up the cup, don't squeeze it because it'll pop that lid off. You'll spill that soda all over you." I'm like, "Got it.
Uh-oh.
Don't squeeze the cup. Pick it up lower. No problem." We get 2 minutes in the movie. My dad grabs the cup, picks it up, squeezes it, and it collapses, and he dumps the soda on me. And I sit there. I'm talking about 44-ounce drink, soaking wet pants. Now, mind you, the AC is up in this thing.
Oh, man.
It is cold. I'm shivering. He's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." He's like, "Do you want, we can come see us another time?" I was like, "Nuh-uh." I was like, "I've waited for X-Men live action, because I grew up on the 90s cartoon." And so I'm like, "No." So I sat there watching the X-Men, the first one, with soaking wet pants, shivering cold through the whole movie.
Man, at least you stayed awake. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah. There was
the ice in your pants.
Well, me getting sleepy in theaters didn't happen until I turned about 30. So
it went all downhill for us.
It did. Now you're like, "I'll go in theater. I'm sure I got my vitamin B12 or something."
Yeah. At that age back then, like you were that dedicated to the X-Men series,
yeah.
man. That's a testament how good the stories are.
The first X-Men movie that I remember seeing in theaters was X-Men 3, so The Last Stand.
Okay.
And I was like so excited for it because I had seen 1, I had seen 2. I got so excited that because we're doing a little story time. My dad was taking my sister and I. And my mom had eyeliner, so my sister and I drew the 3 marks of the Wolverine claw on our face.
Nice.
In eyeliner.
Nice.
We went to go see it.
Well, Deontay, while we're at it, you got a theater moment you like to share?
I'm not sure if I have like a full story. I do remember seeing the very, very first X-Men movie, and like I was at theater, like no cap for Halle Berry. I didn't give a shit about what else was going on. I was like, "Oh, that's a guy that can shoot laser out his glasses. All right, that's cool. All right, we're Storm." I love that movie. The cast was awesome now that I think about it, because it's like Sir Patrick Stewart in his prime back in the day. Famke Janssen.
Oh yeah, Famke Janssen. Yeah.
Famke Janssen.
Ian McKellen.
Sir Ian McKellen, man.
Not a lot of people were crazy about the Rogue that we grew up with, but I love Anna Paquin's Rogue. She was cool. I cannot explain.
She was timid.
Yeah, she was pretty timid.
Mystique was my favorite.
Yeah,
at that age, you're like 12. You're like, "Oh, I'm 12. This movie ain't R." But
I seen just enough.
Right. Your young mind gets to wondering.
That's a strange take on Mystique too. It's like, why did y'all let her go full nude? She's been clothed in everything else.
Yeah, she's had like the white top and the white bottom, and I think a headpiece too. I think, and
yeah,
I don't think at any point.
Also they put everybody in black leather too, and the reason they did that was because they're like, "Hey, the Matrix executive people that made decisions are like the Matrix people. These movies that just came out, they're very successful, and everybody wore black leather, and so that's why they carried that on to them. Is because they're like, it worked in the Matrix, why wouldn't it work here?" And that was the whole reason we didn't get comic accurate or close to comic accurate outfits.
Because they thought that the yellow and blue was just going to be comical. And they
also, Bryan Singer told everybody on set, "Do not read comics and do not bring comics on set, because I wanted to create my own vision of this and it not be comic related," which I think is a huge mistake. But no lie, Kevin Feige's admitted in an interview he would sneak Wolverine comics onto the set for Hugh Jackman to read and look at, so he kind of could get familiar with Logan and Wolverine.
Yeah, we could have a whole roasting session with Bryan Singer for that.
Yeah, we could. And Bryan Singer, that's why you're not in the MCU to this day.
Exactly.
I mean, Halle Berry's Storm is still my favorite to this day, even though like they did her dirty now, like looking back on it. But like growing up, that was my Storm. And I was just like, one day like I'm gonna meet her. I'm gonna like just tell her like I'm gonna fangirl over her. And I was like really excited because at Phoenix Fan Fusion I was able to cosplay as Storm, and it was something that I had dreamt about for years. So to finally be able to do that was amazing. Yeah, we'll definitely be wearing it for Halloween this year.
Oh
yeah.
Dude,
We don't know
Storm is such a powerhouse character too, man.
Omega level mutant. I mean,
Yeah.
Omega level mutant.
And Bryan Singer decided to do her dirty,
and they give her a stupid line about
Toad
electrocuting a toad.
Yeah.
Like, who thought that was cool? That's not cool at all.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
So after watching this movie, and I know it's a lot to take in, but what is y'all's theories of like the characters you've seen, how things played out? What is your theories of some of these characters that was in this going forward, whether it be Deadpool, Wolverine, whether it be some of these Fox characters? Do you think they're done, or do you think they're going to continue maybe in this multiversal deal? What's going on in your minds after seeing this movie that you think might happen coming out in the future?
Deontay, you go ahead and go first.
Alrighty. As far as going into the next phase of the MCU, I would
or
say,
what you would like to see, even if you don't think it will happen. What would you like to see? Either way,
what I like to see, man, more magic and more mutants. Like we've already got hints of the presence of Doctor Strange, and last time we seen him, him and Clay has been traveling through the multiverse together, doing God knows what. So we still haven't had elaboration on that, but I'm expecting it by Captain America 4 that we'll finally get some kind of explanation on what Wong has been up to separately and what Strange has been up to separately, and then we'll have some closure on that front. And then last but not least is what's going on with the mutants, and will we see Deadpool in making cameos in other movies? Because there's not a whole lot of storylines that includes him, so I don't know how many more times we expect to see him before Secret Wars.
Honestly, I feel like the only thing that would make sense is him actually popping in little tidbits from here on out in the MCU movies or shows, and then we get a full blown scene with him in Secret Wars, or maybe Doomsday too, but maybe not till Secret Wars. I really don't see them bringing out any more Deadpool movies for a while, and Ryan Reynolds may be done wanting to do full length movies. He may just be down for doing cameos now or some smaller scenes.
Yeah,
that's a great send off for him. So
honestly, this movie would be a perfect send off for him and Wolverine on as in like full feature films. Both of them could both come in, just like they did with Spider-Man No Way Home. They could use both of their characters for scenarios like that. We still love them. We still get the actors we want to play them, but they're not invested and having to worry about making, another 1 to 3 movie contract deal.
Oh man,
I think it would be cool to see Deadpool in Daredevil Born Again. I don't think it'll happen. But I think it would be cool. But I fully don't expect to see Deadpool until Secret Wars, and that's where I'm expecting. That's my theory anyway. If that's when things will actually happen with him. But that's really it for my theories about like these characters. I would like to see them again, especially because Deadpool had looked at B-15 and was just like, hey, is there any way that we can get those other actors like back, or other characters like back into their universes? And like, so maybe would we see a Wesley Snipes in Blade? Like, would we get to see something like that? You never know. You never know.
You never know.
I think these characters we may not see. I think we'll. I don't know about Channing Tatum's, but I think we'll see again, at least maybe in Secret Wars. And I think we may, if they can talk them into it, we may get a few more older Fox first people in Secret Wars. I know, like Ryan said, that he sent out invitations to anybody that was any Fox movie made with Marvel. And any of them that accepted yes, he put them in the movie. And if they weren't in there, they just didn't reply back or they didn't accept it, which is wild because that's a lot of characters, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would like to see them again in Secret Wars. I would like to see a different version of Gambit. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, Channing Tatum's Gambit cracked me up in this movie because it was
Mm,
constant jabs at himself and wanting that role. So that
yeah.
was hilarious. But he's too big for a Gambit. We need someone different. Like we were saying earlier. Like, give me Austin Butler or somebody to play Gambit. I think that would be cool. Like going forward, permanent.
Mm.
But I don't know.
Did
I
you
want.
like?
Go ahead.
Did you like Taylor Kitsch's Gambit?
Okay, so
Like
yeah,
his physique?
so I like Taylor Kitsch's Gambit, as in I think he could play a better Gambit than he was portrayed in X-Men Origins. So I
Mhm.
feel like I mean, he's an actor. He's coming into whatever. He didn't get to pick his costume. He didn't get to pick,
Yeah.
his lines or whatever. But I think if they done him upright, gave him the right lines, gave him the right costume, and let him get a redemption at it, I think he could pull off a good Gambit if they did him right.
Yeah.
Yeah, let him
Uh,
go full Cajun too, man. Because what the
yeah,
hell was that?
yeah. But I'm a big fan of Gambit. I've always liked Gambit's characters, and I've always wanted to see a good live action one. I was let down with Origins, but Taylor Kitsch as an actor, I think he could pull it off if he was given the right tools and the right script. And
Mm.
but
Yeah,
like also with like Cassandra, like I would love to see her again, whether it be in Battle World or something like that. If we get that storyline, like bring her back in there. Uh, I don't know. I think we might get some of this sprinkled in, toward the two Avengers movies. Hopefully we get some Deadpool, Wolverine sprinkled in between there. I don't want to wait that long for them to again. But I would love if I had to pick one more thing to see Deadpool, Wolverine together in, or at least Deadpool. I wanted to see them come across Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and I don't want to be quick. I want to see a good 15-20 minute clip at least of them three together,
Mm.
or at least Deadpool and Spider-Man together, like Tom Holland Spider-Man. I think that would be great because Deadpool is infatuated with Spider-Man anyways in the comics. But between Tom Holland's, comedy and his cleverness with his Peter Parker, and then Deadpool, and Ryan Reynolds and his quirkiness, oh my God, I think people would lose their minds, and I think it would be an epic scene.
it's a movie we deserve.
Yes, yes.
We deserve this.
And
We
Hugh
haven't
Jackman and
heard.
Ryan Reynolds have both said that they want to do a movie with Tom Holland Spider-Man. They've
We
Please.
made
haven't
that.
heard anything about Tom Holland's Spider-Man in like a hot minute.
Yeah,
It's been like dark over there.
Yeah,
yeah.
last thing we've heard about that was just that Tom Holland and Charlie Cox are confirmed voice actors for the show. So the freshman year animated series.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so Tom Holland is in Freshman.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know
Okay.
that.
He'll be the voice of Peter Parker, and
Nice.
Charlie's actually voicing Matt Murdock, so it's supposed to be
Neat.
canon.
Nice.
Nah,
Yeah, I'm ready for Spider-Man 4. I'm ready to get some news on that.
please.
But we also have not this weekend, but next weekend, D23. So here in a couple of weeks, we might be getting some more news because I mean they didn't touch at San Diego Comic-Con, over hardly anything new, and they definitely didn't over TV shows. So I'm wondering if they're kind of saving new announcements besides because we got title changes and cast showings. That's it. So maybe we'll get a whole bunch more news here in a couple of weeks at D23. But on the Deadpool Wolverine, 1 out of 10, how would y'all rate it?
I got 8.5.
A solid 9 for me.
Solid 9 for me. I'm not gonna lie. So it would be a 10 out of 10 if it had a little bit more depth in the story. That's the only complaint I got, and like that's not a lot to complain about because like there was emotional moments through the movie that they hit, but they like scratched the surface level of it because it was like, oh, this is about to be a good emotional moment, and then they would just kill that moment with another funny line, and it would be gone.
Yeah.
So like they were almost there, but then they didn't never get too deep, and they let it carry on with comedy every time. So like I said, the most emotional part for me was really going through the nostalgic Fox Marvel clips. That's when it hit me the most.
Yeah, because they were getting dangerously close because the premises of this whole movie is that Deadpool recruited the worst Wolverine in the multiverse, and he failed everybody and even failed himself. So one by one, each character that knows him and talks to him, they're trying to like calm him down and make him feel better about himself.
Right.
X-23 shoots her shot. Cassandra Nova then has like a heart-to-heart with him. And it's like, damn, man, like I could really get teary-eyed over this scene.
Yeah.
And then they just cut it with something funny.
Yeah. Well, it's just like when they're in the minivan and Logan just rips into Deadpool and lets him have it, and like he's got nothing to say, and you're like, oh, just about to get deep, and he's like, I'm gonna fight you now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pew, 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 pew.
Stab him. Baby knife.
Baby knife.
Baby knife, man. Such a fun movie though. So great. Like I hope we start seeing a trend, and maybe this will get these naysayers and these sour people to start talking better about Marvel. So here's the deal: maybe Marvel's been underperforming compared to what the Marvel status quo has been set, but Marvel's not been underperforming compared to any other movie franchise out there. It's still successful. Exactly. And when you're going to hit highs and lows when you try new stuff, and some things will land, some things won't. But their pros are way more than their cons. I think it's just popular for people to hate nowadays on the internet. So,
like, shoot, like if you want to look at like how Marvel began with your Edward Norton Hulk and like Iron Man 2 and 3 and Thor 2. I mean, like there's always going to be hit and a miss. But I mean, at the end of the day, they came out with Endgame. You know, so I can only see good things, and compared to like DC, like you can't put them on the same field.
Yeah, those first three phases of the MCU is just like, these are all like solo movies. Like I think we started getting into team ups with like Civil War and then Infinity War and Endgame. And now like we're looking at like just a couple more solo projects, and then it's just more and more teams. So Deadpool and Wolverine team movie, Captain America 4 is probably going to be a team movie. Honestly. Thunderbolts for sure. And then whatever Strange and Wong is up to is probably going to have something to do with the Secret Wars team.
Yeah, and it's almost like, I mean, also too, as we get throughout the MCU, we're gaining so many more characters. Even it's almost to a point where their solo movies almost have to be some kind of team ups or multiple characters involved in one movie instead of focusing just on that one or two characters, because it keeps evolving. I mean, it keeps growing, and they can't obviously put that many movies out in a year of good quality. So I'm kind of wondering to see if like from here on out, that's how it's going to be. Honestly,
it's pretty risky, man, but with the right writers, you can pull it off.
Yeah. Well, I think that's all I got. You have anything else?
That's it for me.
All right. We'll catch y'all next week.